Good evening, it's just past 6 o'clock on Saturday the 6th of August, and thank you for joining me. Visit Dorset. Dorset Council's tourism team has announced this week that it will be one of the official sponsors of Stage 7 of the Tour of Britain. The Tour of Britain is the UK's most prestigious cycle race, which takes place every September across 8 days and 8 stages. It features Olympic, World and Tour de France champions racing across the British Isles and against British home stars. It will be the first time that the Tour has come to Dorset. Stage 7 takes place on Saturday the 10th of September and starts at West Bay. The route then follows the coast road into Abbotsbury with fabulous views of the Jurassic Coast and Chesil Beach. Riders will continue east across the county, passing through many towns and villages including Dorchester, Wareham, Blandford and Wimborne before reaching the finish line at Ferndown for that day. The sponsorship forms part of Visit Dorset's 2022 marketing plan to support the local tourism industry and provide a boost to businesses. Dorset will be firmly in the spotlight in the weeks running up to the event and will benefit from extensive television coverage on the day itself. Visit Dorset will be making the most of this fantastic opportunity to highlight our beautiful county to a global audience. On the back of all the excitement generated around the race, the team will be promoting Dorset as a fantastic place to visit for all kinds of cycling breaks, from family days out to quiet cycle paths to off-road mountain biking. Now, the exact route basically comes into Weymouth area through Chickerell, South Hill, Redlands, Broadway, Littermore and leaves via Coombe Valley Road just before the Chalbury Corner turn. Now, if you want to see the detailed route, you can go to the Tour of Britain website to www.tourofbritain.co.uk, and if you just look at the tabs at the top of the page, you can find the route for each of the 8 days of the tour. It's going to be very busy, I think, and there'll be road closures and all sorts of things, but hopefully we'll get some brilliant TV coverage around that event. Now, West Dorset MP Chris Loder welcomed the Foreign Secretary and Conservative Party leadership candidate Liz Truss to West Dorset on Tuesday this week, following his endorsement of the Foreign Secretary as the next Prime Minister. Ms Truss came to West Dorset to speak to local Conservative Party members about the key issues affecting Dorset and the UK more widely, and to answer questions. The Meet Liz Truss event near Dorchester attracted a fully booked venue of almost 200 people to listen to the Foreign Secretary. Now, the Lionesses, we all know what they managed to do last week, have been given pride of place for their Euro 2022 heroics on the side of a Great Western train. Football came home last weekend with England's glorious 2-1 extra time win over Germany at Wembley, and GWR has provided a lasting tribute to their triumph on Intercity Express train 800 316. Substitute Chloe Kelly scored a dramatic 110th minute winner to spark delirious scenes among a record European Championship crowd of over 87,000 people. Now, GWR Human Resources Director Ruth Busby has said the Lionesses have captured the hearts of the nation with their performances over the past month, and I'm delighted we are celebrating their Euro 2022 triumph on one of our Intercity Express trains. We at GWR have a long and proud history of celebrating great Westerners, past and present heroes from across our network, and the Lionesses are truly worthy of recognition for bringing football home in such a brilliant style. In June, GWR added the official Platinum Jubilee emblem to the side of its Queen Elizabeth II train as part of the celebrations to mark Her Majesty's 70 years on the throne. Other great Westerners have been recognised, including World War II codebreaker Alan Turing, Bristol civil rights pioneer Dr Paul Stevenson, and COVID-19 fundraising hero Captain Sir Tom Moore, and Welsh sporting legends Sir Gareth Edwards and John Charles. Now, staying with sport, Dorchester's Brewery Square has launched a range of free sports themed activities for shoppers every day throughout August. Visitors can bat away the heat and put their best foot forward in friendly competition as the square is installing a table tennis table within its central hub. Aerobics equipment will also be free to use between 10 AM and 4 PM every day during the month, and guests can tee up for crazy golf in the square every Tuesday between 10 AM and 4 PM. Exceptional young people in care were celebrated for their achievements at a special awards ceremony at Monkey World in Wareham this week. Young people were joined by their foster carers and social workers for the event. There were 4 main categories of awards handed out, with each nominee being given a gift bag and a certificate. Kai, who is the nominee for the award of Character and Resilience, said, "Recognition for children in care is very important. It is not the easiest route, so the recognition is really nice." Kai's foster carer, Cherry, said, "I think it's just great that the children are recognised for all of their perseverance. Any event that celebrates children in care is fantastic, and to hold the event at Monkey World makes it not so formal and makes it more relaxed event, which is welcome." Now, the 4 main categories of award delivered by the virtual school head teacher Lisa Linscott were Award for Qualification Success, Award for Significant Achievement, Award for Determination and Progress, and Award for Character and Resilience. In addition, there were 4 virtual school head teacher Outstanding Achievement Awards and another awarded by the Executive Director of Children's Services, Teresa Levy. These young people were nominated by their schools, social workers, foster carers and the virtual schools team. During the event, a presentation was given by the educational team leader at Monkey World, Annie, entitled "Why Families Matter," all about the organisation's fostering programme and the importance of families to the primates, held at the Dorset attraction. Now, on Tuesday the 2nd of August this week, at Poole Magistrates Court, Richard Dunn from Weymouth pleaded guilty to illegally dumping stones and gravel on a verge at the side of an unnamed road in Woodsford, Dorchester, back in April last year. The incident was captured on a passing cyclist's head-mounted video camera. He reported the matter to Dorset Council and provided footage of the incident, as well as a supporting statement. The cyclist came round a bend in the road and passed a car that had stopped in a pull-in, where they saw Mr Dunn stood by the vehicle pouring something onto the verge out of a bag. After turning and cycling back, the witness noticed the couple getting back into the car. The cyclist called out, "That's not being fly-tipped, is it, mate?" To which Mr Dunn replied, "It's stones," before driving away. The witness reported the incident as a fly tip to Dorset Council and submitted the video footage for consideration. The video clearly showed the vehicle's number plate, enabling waste enforcement officers to contact Dorset Police and to find out the driver's address. Initial attempts to contact Mr Dunn in person were unsuccessful. When he eventually contacted the waste enforcement team, he confirmed he was in the area at the time of the incident, but claimed he had been out delivering leaflets. Mr Dunn claimed the boot of the vehicle had come open and leaflets had spilled out. At the time the cyclist spoke to him, Mr Dunn claimed he was clearing up the leaflets and denied fly tipping, despite being informed of the camera footage showing him with a bag and gravel at his feet. Mr Dunn was issued with a fixed penalty notice but failed to pay it. He was summoned to a court on Tuesday the 14th of June but failed to show up, resulting in a warrant without bail for his arrest being issued. Mr Dunn was subsequently arrested and appeared in Poole Magistrates Court this week, 2nd of August, where he pleaded guilty to violating Section 33 of the Environmental Protection Act. Court sentenced him to pay £479, including a £150 fine, cost of £300 and £29 compensation. So there we go, just to let you know that people are watching where you dump your rubbish, and if you dump it illegally, with all these dash cams and head cams and cams on mobile phones about, if somebody catches you on camera and hands it in, the chances are you're going to get prosecuted. So best to dispose of waste the proper way. That's I think the lesson learned here. Now, Dorset Council reports that a bus service improvement plan has been prepared in response to the government's national bus strategy, Bus Back Better initiative, aimed at improving bus services across England. A refreshed document will be published early next year. Now, although the council's bid for bus service improvement plan funding in round 1 was unsuccessful, there will be future funding opportunities which will be applied for, and action those improvements outlined in the council's initial plan that can be found will be funded. The council has continued to work with the local bus operators to make improvements to the network within current budgetary constraints. The council now wants the community's help with a survey. The purpose of the survey is to seek further input from the public and stakeholders on their priorities for public transport, knowing that funding is limited. Dorset Council will be aligning these views with input from local businesses, tourism, health service providers and town and parish councils, as well as local transport action groups and other stakeholders. The survey, which is now live, runs until the 11th of September, and it can be found quite easy. The easiest way I found to find it is to go into the Google search and enter Dorset Council Bus Improvement Survey. So Dorset Council Bus Improvement Survey, and it'll take you right to the page where you can actually do that survey. Now, looking at Dorset Police's appeals this week. Officers are investigating the report of a indecent exposure in Weymouth and are appealing for witnesses or anyone with information to come forward. It was reported that around 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday the 3rd of August, a woman aged in her 20s was walking along the Rodwell Trail in the direction of Portland as she approached the access to Wyke Road. She saw a man emerging from some bushes. The man was reportedly naked below the waist. The victim walked off and saw another woman walking her dog along the trail, who she stopped and warned about what she had seen. Officers attended the scene, and following inquiries, a 41-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of exposure. Now, officers investigating attempted robbery in Weymouth are also appealing for witnesses or anyone with information to come forward. It is reported that around 5:40 p.m. on Tuesday the 26th of July, a local man aged in his 20s was walking along a path near Radipole Park Drive by the Abbotsbury Swannery when he was approached by an unknown man. The suspect demanded that the victim hand over his wallet and phone. He stated that he was in possession of a knife, however no weapon was actually seen during the incident. The victim ran away from the scene and did not hand over any items. The offender is described as white, approximately 6 feet tall, aged in his early 20s and a slim build with ginger hair. He was wearing a black Nike tracksuit with a green fluorescent tick on the front of the top and is described as talking with a Liverpudlian accent. And another one. Detectives have launched an investigation into an alleged assault in Weymouth and are appealing for witnesses or anyone with information to come forward. Dorset Police received a report around 8:45 p.m. on Wednesday the 3rd of August of a disturbance at an address in Dorset Close. It was reported that a man had been struck over the head with a bottle inside the property and then thrown over some railings outside. The victim was taken to hospital for treatment to a broken jaw and lacerations to his head. Officers attended the scene and the 46-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of inflicting grievous bodily harm. Now, if you've got any information on any of those three incidents, if you've got CCTV footage, mobile phone footage or dashcam footage, anything that you think would be of help to Dorset Police, please give them a call on 101. And if you would like to pass the information over anonymously, you can do it through the independent charity Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Now, we've learnt this week that Taste Brasserie on Trinity Street in Dorchester is to close. Now, they obviously also operate the cafe at the Chesil Beach Centre and at Dorset Museum, but the good news is that they have confirmed that neither of those are to close and both will remain open. The Brasserie have announced that on their Facebook page that Friday the 26th of August will be the last day of opening for the Taste Brasserie in Trinity Street. They've also said that Brasserie will be turned into a restaurant called Diane, to be run by multi-award-winning chef Robert Ndungo, who is the former head chef at the Acorn in Evershot. Robert is classically trained in the French style and at the Acorn incorporated the seasonal larder of what Dorset could offer from coast and countryside. So it's closing but reopening in a different way. So I guess that's good news that the facility will remain open. Now, households in the Dorset Council are being asked to look out for an email asking residents to check whether the information on the electoral register is correct as part of the annual canvassing for the register of elections. Households where there appears to have been no changes in residency will start receiving emails from this week. A response is required to the email even if the details in the email are still correct. and you can do this on www.householdresponse.com/Dorset. You can log in securely by using the details provided in the email. If there have been changes in your household, for example, you have moved house or someone in your household has reached 16 or 17, you can provide that information by visiting that website. You can fill in a form and send it back, or you can call 0800 197 9871, supplying the security code that you will have got in the email. And if they don't have an email address for you, they will be sending out a letter. You can also respond by text by sending the text "no change" followed by the security code that you get in the letter. So there we go. As you know, councils by law have to conduct annual canvass in order to update the electoral register, and you do need to keep your details up to date. That is a legal requirement, and obviously any resident over 18 has got the right to vote, so we need to make sure that they all appear on the electoral register. Under section 23 of the Representation of the People's Regulations 2001, it's a legal requirement to provide the information requested, and you can be fined up to £1,000 if you don't. So good reason to do it. Now, the coroner for Dorset is seeking the assistance of the public to find the next of kin of a man who lived in Dorchester. John Stevens, who was 86 years old, died at Dorset County Hospital on Tuesday this week, the 2nd of August, following a fall at his home address. His death is not being treated as suspicious, and no police investigation is needed. However, the Dorset Coroner's offices are very keen to locate a next of kin. So if you have any knowledge of a next of kin or any family members for John Stevens, let's just check that, yeah, John Stevens, of Dorchester, then please give the coroner's office a call on 01202 123 900. That's 01202 123 900. Now, are you looking to make a difference to people living in your community? Do you need some capital funding for your project? Well, Dorset Council recently launched a new grant to support not-for-profit community and cultural organisations to deliver new and improved facilities for local communities. There are still 4 weeks left to apply for round 2 of the grants. The next assessment panel is taking place next month, so applications to this round need to be completed no later than the 12th of September. The Capital Leverage Fund can help fund a range of projects including village hall or community building enhancements, renovations, maintenance or new build projects, including car parks, play areas, multi-use games areas, theatres, community sports clubs, sports pitches and landscaping. And you can apply for a grant of between £1,000 and £25,000 to fund up to 20% of the total project costs. Now, if you want more information on that, on the criteria, the aims of the fund and how to complete an application, then do pop along to the Dorset Council website. And if you need any help, email communities@dorsetcouncil.gov.uk. Now, the organisers of Weymouth Oktoberfest, who are West Dorset Campaign for Real Ale, are proud to announce the popular beer festival will return to Weymouth Pavilion Ocean Room on Friday the 7th and Saturday the 8th of October, after a break of 2 years. The festival is now in its 11th year at the Pavilion and has got more popular as the years have passed, with earlier festivals being in the Time Walk at Brewers Quay. This year's festival will showcase over 60 cask ales and ciders from all over Dorset, from Dorset brewers and cider producers. Customers can expect some of their favourite cask ales and ciders alongside festival specials and one-off brews. Tickets have gone on sale, and there's quite a few different places that you can get them, but probably the easiest one for me to tell you to get them from is the Weymouth Pavilion box office. So that's for the Oktoberfest there at the beginning of October. And finally, in our news headlines this week, musical instruments including a xylophone and chimes have been installed in the Children's Community Woodland at Links Road, Westham. Part funded by the Nature, Art and Wellbeing Community Fund, the xylophone and chimes are now available to be used by all and will particularly benefit users of the Ridgeway Centre opposite, which provides daycare for adults with special needs. As well as the instruments, there are new wooden benches and a recently installed all-weather path around the site. all of which helps create a welcoming, accessible space for the whole community. The Children's Community Woodland was created in the winter of 2020, with 610 native trees being planted as part of a nationwide campaign to plant a tree for every child that started school for the first time during the pandemic. The trees help mitigate against climate change, providing food and shelter for wildlife, and create a natural area for the community to enjoy and take pride in. Well, that's the end of our headlines this week. Now, our first feature this week goes along the theme of lots of things have been happening on the national news and regional news this week, as we have marked 10 years since the London 2012 Olympics. And you'll be very familiar that the sailing events, both for the Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games, took place in Portland Harbour and around the waters of Weymouth. Now, on Friday this week, Janet Hall, our regular contributor, went off to the Knowth Gardens to see the unveiling of a sculpture marking the sailing event's 10th anniversary. And we hear from Janet now.
Do you remember when the Olympic Games sailing events took place in Weymouth in 2012? Perhaps you went and watched. Sailing events for the Games were held at the Weymouth and Portland National Sailing Academy, with Sir Ben Ainslie and Helena Lucas bagging gold for Team GB. To mark the 10 years since the Olympic Games, a commemorative sculpture has been unveiled. Brendan Merlis, a contemporary figurative sculptor, was commissioned by Weymouth Town Council and Dorchester Bates Art Development Company to create the design. The unique design features a boat styled on the one used by Sir Ben, in which he won gold for Team GB at the Games. The sculpture features numbers and symbols inspired by the number of participants in the Games, 380, countries competing, 63, and the 5 medals won by Team GB in the sailing events. Portland stone has also been used to create 6 waves representing 6 continents. Councillor Anne Weaving, Mayor of Weymouth, hosted the unveiling at midday yesterday, August the 5th, at the Knowth Gardens.
The entertainment and celebrate the official unveiling of this permanent piece of artwork. It marks the 10th anniversary of London 2012 Olympics and Paralympic sailing events that took place at Weymouth and Portland. I'm sure many of you stood up here and actually saw the racing. It's very memorable, isn't it? So it couldn't be in a better place. Yay!
Ambassadors and torchbearers from London 2012, who are still living in and around Weymouth, were encouraged to attend the event.
Nice look at the echo photography.
Mr. Merlis said, "I have designed my sculpture to celebrate the 2012 Olympic sailing events in Weymouth and Portland, to tell a positive story about the participants and how they came from all over the world to compete here. When people look at the sculpture from Knowth Gardens, it will silhouette against the sea where the sailing events took place." Knowth Gardens was chosen as the location for the artwork because it's a reminder of the spot where spectators gathered in their droves to cheer on the competitors during the sailing events. It also provides the perfect backdrop for taking and sharing photos of Dorset's beautiful coastline.
Thank you very much, Janet. And I have to say, I'd seen some early pictures of that sculpture and I actually thought it was quite small. It's nice to see it's actually when it's actually been unveiled, it's actually much larger than I thought it was going to be, so it will stand out quite significantly there against the water in the background, as Janet mentioned in her report. Now, our second feature this week, there's been quite a lot of coverage in the national media and in the local media over recent weeks about the continuing rate of fraud and scams, with people getting telephone calls and fraudulent letters and text messages, and it continues to be a problem, and a growing problem. So this week our reporter Lydia has been looking at a campaign being run by the UK financial industry called Take 5 to Stop Fraud. And we hear from Lydia now.
Thousands of people fall victim to fraud each year, with those that come up with scams constantly coming up with new ideas to make people part with their money. There is an ever-increasing number of scams, and we all need to be on our guard all the time to be aware of being conned. Whilst sometimes it is possible to get your money back, consumers are losing millions of pounds a year with traps that are getting ever more sophisticated. UK Finance, which represents around 300 member firms across the industry involved in finance, acts to enhance competitiveness, support customers and facilitate innovation. They also work for, and on behalf of their members, to promote safe, transparent and innovative banking, and seek to ensure that the UK is the safest and most transparent financial centre in the world. They do this wherever possible by creating a hostile environment for criminals by working with members, law enforcement, government agencies and industry. UK Finance have introduced new procedures between police and bank branches to prevent vulnerable people falling victim to fraud. They have devised and delivered Take 5, a national awareness campaign about the risks of fraud. Some signs that consumers should look out for: websites names that aren't the official website but use a recognized brand name in the address, such as www.ipadoffers.net. Offers with very low prices, very large discounts, or where product prices are so low it looks too good to be true. Messages, emails or websites with lots of spelling or grammar errors. Cold calls, especially any that ask for personal or banking details. Investment opportunities publicized on social media such as Facebook. Websites where there are no contact details. Research has shown that often fraudsters are very plausible and often very persistent. It is therefore difficult for many consumers to say no. We will now hear from Alexandra Brooks, who is a researcher at Aberystwyth University, who will tell us about the Take 5 awareness campaign, and most importantly how to say no.
I wanted to talk to you today about the art of saying no to fraudsters that we're all encountering in our day-to-day lives. Fraudsters nowadays can be incredibly resourceful. They're targeting people using text messages, emails, telephone calls, social media posts, and messaging platforms. One of the most common things that we're seeing with these online scams is that they're using our emotions to actually trying to encourage us to immediately respond to that message. So these types of messages then are actually trying to play on our fear of missing out, or they're trying to make it feel like it's too big of a risk to actually just say no, or to just ignore the text call or email. If you're contacted out of the blue by someone who's asking for your personal information, either via text, email or phone, I encourage you to stop and think before responding. Challenge the message. Could it be fake? And remember, only fraudsters would try and rush or panic you into responding. If you're unsure whether it is fake, it's okay to just reject, refuse, or ignore any requests that you might receive.
So there we go, that's the Take 5 campaign, Stop, Challenge, Reject there. So thank you to Alexandra and of course Lydia for bringing that to us. Now it comes to that time in the programme where we have our weekly film review, and we now go over to our film reviewer, Andrew Wright.
Welcome to the Wyke Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. This weekend, Prey, the fifth film in the Predator franchise and a prequel to the film series, releases on Disney Plus internationally. Prey stars Amber Midthunder, hope I'm pronounced that right, famous for her roles in X-Men series Legion and Roswell, New Mexico, as a young Comanche warrior who protects her tribe against the alien predator. This film is directed by the director of 10 Cloverfield Lane, and a version of the film is expected to be available where the entire cast performs an all-Comanche dub of the film to provide historical authenticity. Prey hits Disney Plus on August 5th. Be sure to check it out. This weekend, the action thriller Bullet Train arrives in cinemas. The film hails from acclaimed action director David Leitch, who got his start doing stunt work before making a name as an action director with John Wick, Atomic Blonde, Deadpool 2, and Fast and Furious Hobbs & Shaw. Bullet Train stars Brad Pitt as a seasoned but wary American assassin who gets placed on a Japanese bullet train from Tokyo to Kyoto in order to retrieve a mysterious briefcase that numerous international assassins are also on the train for. Brad Pitt reportedly performed 95% of his stunts in the film, but the film has drawn controversy due to being based on a Japanese novel, but the casting of the various non-Asian actors in the role of Japanese characters received criticism. The final Comic-Con panel for The Walking Dead was held at San Diego Comic-Con 2 weeks ago. AMC unveiled the trailer for the final 8 episodes of The Walking Dead's 11th and final season, which returns this October and concludes this November on Disney+. The Comic-Con panel also unveiled a trailer for the new anthology series Tales of the Walking Dead, where each episode focuses on different groups of characters and how they survived the outbreak. The trailer features glimpses of Terry Crews's character, as well as the backstory of Samantha Morton's Alpha, reprising her role from The Walking Dead. There was also confirmation that filming had begun on Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Cohan's New York set spin-off Isle of the Dead, where they reprised their roles from The Walking Dead. But the biggest news out of the panel was that the intended film trilogy starring Andrew Lincoln that was in development hell due to the pandemic had been cancelled and redeveloped as a 6-part limited series starring Lincoln and Denai Guerrera, returning to their roles from The Walking Dead, and picks up where their storyline concluded on the main series. My movie pick this week is 2019's Ford v Ferrari, better known in the UK as Le Mans 66. The film stars Matt Damon, Christian Bale and John Bernthal, directed by James Mangold, and is based on the true story of how car industry titan Ford tried to develop a racing car to compete with Ferrari. Back when it came out, I went to see it in cinemas mainly due to the fact it's a racing biopic, as well as the involvement of director James Mangold, but I found myself completely blown away by the film, as I didn't know the events of the true story, so the ending completely surprised me, and as a Formula 1 fan, I thoroughly enjoyed the racing sequences, and I felt the film truly deserved the Best Picture Oscar nomination they received. I give this film 4.5 stars out of 5. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week where I will talk about the home video release of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much, Andrew, and look forward to hearing about Sonic the Hedgehog 2 next week. Now it's that time in the programme we go over to the Met Office for the national weather forecast, and this week we are joined by Alex Deakin.
Welcome to your national weather update. If you're after rainfall, it's not good news, but if you fancy sunny spells this weekend, well, for most, you're in for a bit of a treat thanks to an area of high pressure that's slowly but surely toppling in across the UK. Northern Scotland, though, keeping with the cloud and rain and drizzle well into the evening. In fact, for most of the night across the Highlands and the western coast of Scotland, it's going to stay overcast with rain and drizzle and a fairly brisk breeze. But elsewhere, again, a fine Saturday night leading into a dry and sunny start to Sunday. England and Wales staying that way. A bit more cloud again, spilling into northern England, perhaps at times Northern Ireland and western Scotland, keeping some outbreaks of rain going through the day, mostly over the hills. I suspect mostly further east it'll be dry, and we should again see some sunny spells across northeastern parts of Scotland. Aberdeenshire could get up to 22 degrees Celsius, maybe even 23. And further south, temperatures more widely into the low 20s and perhaps 26 or 27 in and around the London area. So it is getting a little warmer through the weekend, and that's a trend likely to continue into next week. Weather fronts always close by to the northwest, but that high pressure system is likely to dominate through Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and day on day with sunny spells. that will see the temperatures rising. And we could, as I say, after starting off fairly cool, see those temperatures ticking back up over 30 Celsius, certainly across the south by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. We are going to see that warmer air returning, not tapping into the heat across Iberia at this stage, but it is going to get warmer and warmer, and temperatures, as I say, by the middle of next week in the south likely to be back into the low 30s. Keep up to date with the very latest throughout the weekend by following the Met Office across social media.
Thank you very much, Alex, and let's have a look at the weather forecast for our area for this coming week. Well, following the national forecast, the temperatures building again during the week. Next weekend looks to be incredibly hot again. No rain or damp or anything on the horizon for at least 2 weeks. So the chance of your gardens and grass recovering is somewhat remote. Unfortunately, I have to say I should be glad when it cools off a bit and we get some rain. I'm not enjoying this hot weather too much at all. Okay, let's move to our What's On section now. Coming up at Weymouth Pavilion, 10th of August, the Dolly Show, a Dolly Parton tribute. 11th of August, the Wall of Floyd. 14th of August, Breathless, the Jerry Lee Lewis songbook. 17th of August, Little Chicks, it's a little mix tribute band. 18th of August, Nish Kumar. 21st of August, Catch Us If You Can, a musical extravaganza. And 25th of August, the Rod Stewart songbook. As ever, look online at the weymouthpavilion.com website or call the box office on 01305 783 225. Now, the Nose Fort this week, one update for you. Munch Mission, which was due on Tuesday, I think it was the 9th of August, I think that's Tuesday, has been cancelled due to unforeseen circumstances. So if you were going to that, do contact the Nose and don't just turn up. It has been cancelled, unfortunately. 15th of August is Jazz Rock and Blues session with Robbie McIntosh Band plus special guest Mickey B, the Night Owls, and that's also going to be repeated on the 22nd of August and the 29th of August. On the 25th of September, this is early notice, Pause for Fort is the first time that the Nose Fort is teaming up with the Dog Friendly Social and Watercombe Dogs to bring you Pause for Fort. Join them to celebrate the very best in dog-friendly businesses with the Dorset Dog Friendly Business Awards, followed by a dog show like no other with Watercombe Dogs. So if you're a doggy person, look out for the 25th of September, Pause for Fort. Now, Royal Manor Theatre have released that they're gearing up to get back on stage with a bunch of amateurs. The superb love letter of a play to amateur dramatics written by Nick Newman and Ian Hislop of Private Eye and Have I Got News For You fame is going to be terrific apparently, and that's going to be running the week of the 17th to the 22nd of October. They're fast practicing and rehearsing that at the moment. And also the joint production of The Hardy Shorts by Rose and Anne-Marie Goldthorpe and supported by Royal Manor Theatre has now been completed. The films will hold their premiere at the theatre in November. In fact, it will be on the 19th of November, and they say it's been a great privilege to be part of this and give the opportunity for members to be involved. So look out for that, 19th of November, and a bunch of amateurs 17th to the 22nd of October. Now, also, if you're looking for something to do for the family and a bit of fun this coming week, Lucky Pigeons is on this week from Dorset Arts Reach. With a mix of impressive acrobatics, absurd and extravagant theatre, empathetic and funny stories, juggling, clowning, and a pinch of satirical spice and puppetry, a cast of 7 Lucky Pigeons will perform daring aerials and acrobatic feats in this soulful story. And it's going to be, where's it going to be? It's going to be at Lytton Cheney Hall Grounds on Saturday the 13th of August and Stourbridge Hall Grounds on Sunday the 14th of August. So do have a look at the Arts Reach website. They have got lots going on all the time, but specifically a lot going on over the summer period for children and families. And that's to be welcomed, obviously. Next Saturday, the 13th of August, there's a classic car display from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Abbotsbury Gardens. So if you like the classic cars, then Abbotsbury Gardens next Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. is the place to go. Now, church services this weekend in Wyke. Regular services tomorrow, 8 a.m. at All Saints Church, communion service. The second service of the morning is 9:45, being the first Sunday of the month, and it's the family-friendly Cafe Church, which is a short non-communion service starting with breakfast at 9:30. 11 o'clock there's a service at St Edmund's Church at Lane House. Other things coming up this week, obviously we've got our quiz this evening. Starts at 7:30, the stream goes live at 7:15, and Friday night this week at 7 p.m. And repeated next Sunday at 4 p.m. will be the August edition of Gardening with Clive Gray, our gardening programme produced by Clive Gray, who has been working with us and supporting what we do as we support what he does for the last year and a half or so. So Clive's based over in Kent, and he does this regular gardening programme, which I have to say is very interesting. Got lots of useful tips for the garden, how to deal with weeds, how to build things, new projects, all sorts of things. So look forward to seeing that this Friday at 7 p.m. and repeated next Sunday at 4 p.m. Moving on to traffic and travel. Roadworks this coming week. Roadworks with traffic control. Traffic lights Chickerell Road and Grove Road. Other roadworks in Leeds Crescent, Lodge Way, Portland Road, Wardcliffe Road, Mitchell Street, Goldcroft Avenue, Park Street, Colton Road South, Milton Terrace, Dale Avenue, Coombe Avenue, Moorside Close, Greenway Close, Fairfield and Rex Lane and Guernsey Street. Lots of these are works by the utility companies, and there is a particular lot of work going on at the moment on the telecoms front, as telecoms companies are starting to pull fibre networks in to improve the internet service to many homes in the local area, and hopefully that will be available widely across Weymouth within the next 12 months. Some listeners and viewers may already have access to that, of course. Now, rail travel, there is no pre-notified works affecting services from Weymouth this weekend or for the week ahead, so that is good news. So that brings us to the end of this week's programme. Don't forget our quiz. In just over half an hour the stream will be going live, and the quiz starts in about 45 minutes. If you have any stories or information or events coming up and you want to contact either myself, Janet or Andrew or Lydia, do drop us an email to news@wykeregis.tv. We are always pleased to hear from you. If not, do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Do watch that hot weather and the hot weather for the week ahead, and we look forward to being back with you Saturday next week at 6 o'clock. Good night for now.